Okay, so I'm excited that you guys hopped on here today to do a little bit of Facebook 101. And I'm going to tell you, this really is a Facebook 101. I'm going to go to speaker view here, change our view. It's really going to be kind of the basics of just getting launched with your business. But I've got some really great resources that I will add to this afterwards. I have another whole hour training that's done by a gal named Ray Lloyd. That's really fantastic. That's really more in depth on how to post, how to create the posts, how to post them, what Facebook's looking for with algorithms and all those things. I will put in the comments slides of some of the quotes that I use, suggestions that I give, so it'll be easy for you guys to reference things afterwards. So hopefully that's all cool. Okay, so first of all, before you even start posting in Facebook, I really recommend that you have at least 2 or 3 shares under your belt. Because when you do those first shares as a 3-way call with your coach, you'll start to catch kind of the heart of how we share. And it really is sharing. We're never selling. If somebody's not ready, we're just in relationship with them. We give them time and space. We never push a conversation. And you'll hear that when you go through those original shares with your coaches or your mentor coach. So I recommend you do that first. And then when you do your launch on Facebook, it's super fun, but there's some really important tips for that. And the first one would be post it in your coach support thread first. So your coach has a chance to review your words, give you a few pointers. We've learned through the School of Hard Knocks a few things through the years. And also if you have a photo that you can use, photos are so powerful and they can help you with your photos, or if you make a collage, a side-by-side or a before and after, they can help you with that as well. So definitely partner with your coach in your support thread. Okay, a few tips on your post. So posts have about a 6-hour shelf life is kind of what Facebook's finds. And even if you watch your post, most of the action is going to happen fairly quickly. So if you post late in the day, 11 o'clock or something like that, it's not going to do you a lot of good, right? Because probably most people are going to be in bed. So post them earlier in the day. When you make your posts right in the spot where you are starting to type, you can make them public. You want to push who your audience is going to be. And you really don't want to just do friends or friends of friends. You want your posts to be public because you're trying to cast a bigger net. When you do them public, your friends' friends can see them, your friends' friends can see them, people can share your posts. And that's what our goal really is to get the word out there about what we're doing. The other thing that's really important that I like to mention is you don't want to put the word Optavia in your post. And that's certainly not because we're not proud of Optavia. We're extremely proud of our program. We have phenomenal success. It has a fabulous reputation. But what do people do in this day and age? They will log into Google, they go search Optavia, and they really don't find anything useful. What we have online for Optavia is really client support, right? And our coach information. There's nothing out there that helps people decide to be a client. There's nothing out there that does their health assessment and finds out what do they really need and lines them up with program. So if you put Optavia and they just Google it, they'll just make a decision without giving you a chance to help them make their best decision and line them up with program. So I always call it, the program I coach or this awesome program. You don't have to put the brand name in there. Okay. When you're posting, you don't want it to feel salesy. You really want this to feel relational. You want to be attractive. You want to create your brand. So your profile picture should be a picture of you because you are your brand, not your favorite dog, not your bull elk you killed. It's like you. So when you post and you comment, you want them to recognize you. If you're at an event with them, you want them to recognize you. So that's your brand. And then you can do little descriptives in there. You can look at my page afterwards if you want. I put some 5 little descriptives in there of who I am. What do I stand for? What am I trying to create? What value maybe can I bring to people that way? It took me a long time to figure out what those items were. I'd say I thought about that for probably 6 months even, because you want it simple. You don't want it cluttered. That homepage on your Facebook page is your brand. Okay, so then when you're actually doing the post, you want to create interest. So you want to talk about a variety of things, not just before and afters, not just your weight journey. Certainly never, I'm now selling this stuff because we don't ever want it to feel salesy. But it's like just a snapshot of your life. You really want to talk in 3 areas. One, what's going on in my life? Oh my gosh, look at the snow outside. Anybody else have snow? I'm going on a cruise and I need a fancy dress. Anybody have a favorite place to shop? Things that create engagement. And you want to show your real self. They won't keep coming back and just looking at before and afters. They will come back to see what's going on and what's exciting and fun and new in your life. Create posts that are interesting, that share what's going on in your life. And then you can have other posts that are educational, informational, inspirational. Those types of posts are really great to share as well. And you want to spread them out. Facebook, if you put them closer than 90 minutes together, the algorithms on Facebook gets confused. It says, I don't know what to do. There's 2 posts here. Which one do I put in the news feed? What do I want to do with this? So the general advice on that is to keep them at least 90 minutes apart. If you're going to post 3 times a day, it's kind of like first thing in the morning, lunchtime, and then maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, so that it still has some shelf life before people go to bed. And the purpose of these is to create relationship. And it's like, well, what does that mean, create relationship? It means interaction. If people will like your post or talk to you on your post, if you ask a question and they're interacting with you, then your future posts will show up in their newsfeed. Just like if you have 5 or 6 people that you are building relationship with and getting to a point where let's just see if health comes up at some point in time, you want to be watching their Facebook posts and commenting on them. Likes don't put you in each other's news feeds. Comments do. Facebook is all about interaction. It's also about digital. It really wants photos in there. So putting photos are great, or a motivational quote, but you always want to personalize it with words, because photos aren't interactional on their own. You need the narrative to go with it. So you want to try to get these conversations going back and forth, and just creating a friendship. So when it gets to where you're sharing your story and they're commenting like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's really exciting, because that's when that's your real launch. When you have that first post and you're really launching what you're doing with program. A couple of tips for that day: be sure you're able to be around your phone or your computer to be able to reply. Because if they're like, oh my gosh, that's awesome, congratulations, what are you doing? And you don't talk to them for a whole day or 3 days or never, that's not accomplishing much for them. It's not helping them. So one of our purposes in posting that is to find people that we can help. When you do that, you always want to reply in their comments, or reply to their comments. So if they say, oh my gosh, that's awesome, say thanks, get talking to them. That's going to put your next post in their feed, and their next post in your feed. So you're building those conversations so they keep seeing your post. They say, what are you doing? You don't want to say, I'm doing this awesome program and it's called blah, 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 and just start like right there. Because it's really not so much about what we're doing. It's about what do they want and what do they need, and how does that line up with which version of our program. So what I love for people to do is put right in there, I'll send you a message. I'll private message you, or if they're a close friend, I'll text you. Let me get back to you. And it does a couple of things. Almost always, if you have that interaction with somebody else down the line replying is going to say the same thing. But you get these shy Nellies on there, and they don't want to say anything. They don't want anybody to know they're looking at anything that has to do with health or weight loss, and they're all embarrassed. But if other people are asking the question, they're more likely to ask the question. And then when you send them that private message, and you're going to say, hey, I'll message you, so everybody that's watching knows, oh gosh, she's actually talking to us, she's going to share what's going on. Then when you go to their private message and you chat with them, the goal isn't to do this back and forth volley of text messages, because you need to get in a conversation with them. So I'll put in the comments after we post this on the Facebook page what some of these might look like. But I have some that I wrote down here. So, first of all, we don't even really know why they reached out. So we need to get to their why. A nice friendly conversation starter that you can private message in there, to them directly is, hey, Patty, so glad you reached out. Were you asking for yourself or someone else? And then that gets a little conversation started, because it might not even be for them, or it might be. And then another comment might be, I'd love to share with you what I'm doing, but it's way too much to text. And it really is, right? Like, how do you even know where to start? Is there a good time in the next day or two I could give you a quick call? My number is blah, blah, blah. What's yours? And just pop that back to them. And some people will say, gosh, well, can you just send me a website link? I'm just like, I really don't have a website except one that I use for clients. It's, we aren't set up for that. And if they don't answer you right away, give it a couple of days. We don't want to feel like desperate or come across urgent or whatever, but certainly a couple of days later, I'd pop in there and just say, hey, Patty, or whatever I said her name was. I said, okay, Patty. Hey, just double check in, make sure you got my message. I'd love to chat with you. Do you still want to talk? Something like that. So yeah, I just don't have much to send. The only website I have is for my current clients. The call, I can find out what you're looking for and share what I'm doing. Quick call, maybe if you have 20 minutes, let me know what works. We'll just keep it really casual. And we're not selling, you guys. We really are figuring out.
Quick Facebook training.
Susie, can I talk you into mute?
Sorry.
No problem. Yeah, because what we're trying to do is find out if we're a good match for what they're looking for. And we need to go through the health assessment. You all know what the health assessment is. And that's what we're really doing, is we're inviting them to a health assessment. If they ask you the cost, hey man, how much does this cost? Well, it's really hard to know until I know what program would be best suited for you, which is true, right? They might do a 5-in-1, they might do a 4-in-2, they might be doing a 3-in-3. We need to find out what their health goals are. So a phrase is, we have several different paths available depending on what you're looking to accomplish. You don't have to write this down. I'll put it in the comments. And I won't know what program's best for you until we chat a few minutes about you and your health goals. So just let me know a good time to chat in the next couple of days, and I can hop on a quick call with you. And like I said, if they don't respond, no big deal. But I do recommend you keep a list of those names. I have an Optavia notebook, and all things Optavia I put in one spot. I used to have Post-it notes all over and write it on pieces of paper, and I couldn't find that piece of paper, so I'd start a new piece of paper, and I'd lose track of the people that were, asking for help. Sometimes you guys are just not quite ready. That's okay. Sometimes they need more information, so they'll keep watching your page, so make sure you're consistent with your posting. That's a really big part of all this, is our consistency in what we do with Facebook. Anyway, so hopefully those give you some ideas on how to follow the comments and the likes that happen on your Facebook page when you post something health related. The other thing that I love is just to say, hey, thanks for encouraging other people by liking my Facebook post today. And you can private message people that and see if they'll get into conversation with you. And when I do private message them, like when you send a friend request to somebody, be sure you send them a private message. Hey, Susie, I hear you guys have family in Montana, so do I. Something that is friendly and about them, and they're not. We don't go straight to, hey, I want to tell you about this awesome program. Even though we're excited about what we do and what our health results are, we have to wait until those doors open. Like when they say, what's new and exciting in your life? That's when you can say, oh my gosh, I lost 30 pounds, or I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I've never felt this good, or I have a new business venture. Can you believe I'm a health coach these days? Then you can step into those conversations. And that's the same with just in your general life. You want to look for those open doors and be ready to walk into them. The other thing, I just was actually watching another training this morning on Facebook posting, and one of the things they're saying the Facebook algorithms really like are emojis. When you do your post, in Facebook, there's the little smiley face right in the posting line and if you click on that, it'll give you a chance to say you're feeling excited, you're feeling sad, you're feeling nervous, you're feeling whatever. That ups Facebook's algorithms, and the statistics on that are that people respond more, will comment more if there's a photo, a short video, or there's some sort of one of those little emotional emojis in the top of it. And that's, so anything we can do to increase the interactions, that was what we're looking for. Another biggie, you guys, is we're trying to be attractive, right? We're trying to be relatable. We're trying to have value to share with people. So a really big thing, I loved how this gal that I was, her name's Ray Lloyd, whose video I will post also in the comments. It was definitely a higher level than what we're doing today, a 1 hour video. But she had this cute little graphic and she's like, no drama, llama. Like, you guys, we don't want to get into the lecturing, the drama. You alienate such a big part of your audience. So, stay away from hot political topics and things like that. I mean, you may have a hot spot in your heart and maybe you can't help it and that's just who you are and you have to do that. But it just causes controversy and we want to stay above the line, stay in the space of our branding and what we want to do in creating relationships. I can help somebody with their health, whether I agree with them politically or religiously or socially. I can help them with their health. I can stay in a good space with them that way. So that's, I think, a really important one. Take a look at your page and see what your story is that you're telling in there. Okay, so when you do your side-by-side, and it can be a before and after, or it could be, whatever those might be. But if they are a side-by-side that's a before and after, we need to make sure that we have the compliance statement in there. And I'll post a link to that in the comments as well. It doesn't have to be big. We don't have rules on how many point size and all that kind of thing, but it does need to be on there. And it's just something that really gives great protection to Optavia. We don't want to have any issues with the FDA. And the compliance statement, unplugged, out of line, but I'm going to say it anyway. I can't even believe we have to put that compliance statement on there because it's talking about, the average weight loss is 12 pounds. It's like, I don't even know how they get that number, but I don't really care because the picture tells us is worth 1,000 words and people get the drift of the picture, not what's just on the words. But we want to make sure we add that layer of compliance in there for our company. Let's see. Already talked about always personalize. Let me see if I've got anything else here that might be helpful to you. Yeah, I guess that's the main thing. There are next steps of things that you can do. Going live is fabulous because the lives go to all your friends. Posts go to people that are interacting with you. Facebook is trying to make Facebook more valuable. Facebook is trying to encourage people to spend more time on their platform. That's how Facebook makes money, right? With their ads and things like that. So they're trying to figure out, what does Debbie most like to see? What groups does she check out? And then that's what they're trying to fill my news feed with. So if there's people I'm not interacting with, they take them out of my news feed. The other thing, you guys, go look at how many friends. Okay, we'll take a little turn now and look at this from a different angle. How many friends do you have on Facebook? When I started this, I maybe had 300 or something. Honestly, when I started this, I felt kind of weird. It was like 8 years ago, but I wanted to share photos of grandkids with my friends. And that was how the whole thing started. And I never friended anybody until I became a coach. And then I'm like, well, how are people going to know what you're doing? And how are you going to help people if you don't talk to more people? So I just keep adding friends. The 3 by 3 by 3 that you heard him talk about is post 3 times a day. Start 3 conversations a day. That'd be your through texting or messaging them, and then add 3 friends a day. You guys, that's a really important one. I've been really taking a look at the coaches' Facebook pages recently and have realized, oh my gosh, no wonder their posts, they're doing all these wonderful posts and telling these great stories of hope and transformation, and they're not getting clients or not getting clients very often. Well, they only had 190 friends. If you're talking to the same pool of people day after day, month after month, and potentially year after year, you need to grow that audience. So go take a look at friends and see who their friends are and see, oh, I know that person, or gosh, I know that person, or I have this in common with them, and friend them and send them a little note so it's not weird. We never want this to feel weird, you guys. Don't be weird. If you can't do it and feel natural, avoid it, But if you have something in common with them, invite them to, hey, I friended you on Facebook because I'd love to see, I love your dogs. I want to see more pictures. Or, oh my gosh, your grandkids are adorable. I want to see what kind of adventures you guys are having. Whatever feels comfortable to you, but send them a message as to why you're doing it. Also, if they answer you, your posts are going to be going into their newsfeed. And that's what we're trying to create there. So you really want to grow it. Go look at how many friends you have and try to grow it. Now, you don't really want to be focusing on adding coaches. You might want to add a few coaches, and I can give you some suggestions of coaches that do a really great job with posting and that balance of, real life and intentional message of hope and health that you'll learn from, and you can, share some of their posts. But they're not going to become your client, right? And their clients aren't going to become your client, right? So what we are looking for are people that are in news circles. They say that that Facebook is your phone is your new business card. You meet somebody at the coffee shop and you're having fun chatting with them. Say, hey, can I friend you on Facebook? I'd like to stay in touch. And then be sure to comment back to them one way or another so that you end up in each other's news feeds. And you guys, there's phenomenal stories of how people build relationship that way and people become coaches and clients. I guarantee it works. We rode home on the plane a couple of weeks ago from Miami. We were at the Grant Cardone conference, and flying home, Mark was chit-chatting with the guy next to him. They really kind of hit it off. And at the end, Mark friended him on Facebook the next day and sent him a message when we got home. The next day, the guy messaged him back. He went back and said, hey, I think I need to hear more about your program you're doing. I think I want to do it. And that day he signed up for a program. So there's just so many people, you guys, that are looking for what we have to offer. We're not selling anything. We are just letting people know what we do and serving their needs there. And then with the 3x3x3, the 3 posts we've talked about, friending 3 people we've talked about, the 3 messages, you guys, it's really the most important part. Posting the pictures, posting the post is the easiest part for those of you that have done this very much. After when you're going out there and trying to figure out who to friend, who did I go to college with? Who do I work with? Who are the parents of my kids and grandkids? Friending all those people. But that and like the intentional messages that you send to people are the ones that turn into clients. It's not so much, oh, I have somebody walking up to my front door. This could get awkward. Hey, Mark. Nobody ever comes to my front door. I live out in 40 acres. Mark's coming, he'll get that. But you really want to be intentional with those conversations because those are the things that turn into clients. The post, it's rare that you post a post and then they go, oh, sign me up today. They all need conversations. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up with that. I will put in the comments some slides that show some of the verbiage to post in Facebook, encouraging people to converse with you on Messenger and then to get to the phone. That's the magic, is the phone, you guys, and doing your actual health assessment and your share. So with that, I'm going to wrap up on our little Facebook 101. Have fun with it. Don't make it weird. Use your support Messenger thread. Get ideas on your post. Oh, one last thing. If you need a resource for transformation stories, there's a Facebook page called Transformation Stories to Share. Dan Valentine manages that site, and you look that up, Transformation Stories to Share, and you can use any of those stories. And the reason that popped into my mind, he'll have to okay you into the page, but he will. Just might take a day or two. But you can copy and paste those stories, ones that you relate to, like I really have a heart for mamas, and here's a neat story about a mama that's now living an active life with their kids. You can cut and paste that into your Facebook page. You guys, anything we share with transformational stories, side-by-sides, that kind of thing, are fair game to share. But you want to use them authentically and not look like a sales page at all. It needs to be like, oh my gosh, I love this mama's journey. Or look at the life this little baby girl now gets to lead because mom's so healthy and gets out and plays with her, and then post the person's story. But you want to personalize, a little introduction into that. Okay, with that, you guys, we'll take it from there. If we want to have another chat about this at another time, we'll do it. But I'm going to stop right now, and we can go to some conversations after I stop the recording. Thanks, guys.